Good evening and welcome to this semi-final number 4 of the Jeopardy Live panel, hashtag Jeopardy Live panel, a tournament of panelists. Once again, I'm Andy Saunders. And before we get to the questioning, I know we're a little bit delayed in starting. I do apologize for that. We are down a panelist, but I'm sure we'll figure that one out. I know I promised no more twists on Twitter, but that might end up changing. We will see. I am just getting my score sheet ready, but I'm going to introduce the second half of our multinational, bipartisan, ecumenical judging panel, the founder of TheJeopardyFan.com, Jeannie Kenkel. So, Jeannie, we've gone back to doing some recaps on the website. How do you feel about that?
If the readers want it, then I'm good with it, but if they don't care, then I don't care either.
Well, fortunately, our first question tonight isn't "Do you like recaps?" but our panel, currently with 5 of our 6 semifinalists, I'm going to hope and pray, and I don't normally do that, for our 6th to show up. But first up, we have Sandie Baker. Thanks for joining us, Sandie.
Hi!
Also, the 2004 Tournament of Champions winner, Russ Schumacher.
Hello.
From the West Coast, and so it's still mid-afternoon there, we have Chua. Kea,
Hi,
hey. Okay. Where did your video go? What happened?
My video's gone.
Your video, I'm not sure. There. Let's see. Try again. Oh well, we still have audio for you at the moment. That is very unusual.
Well, strange.
Technical difficulties abound here on Jeopardy Live panel. Next up, we have Josh Frumkin, whose Orioles are on a bit of a resurgence, a slight resurgence, but fortunately my Blue Jays are doing slightly better.
Why don't you talk about the Ravens too while we're at it? Bad weekend.
And finally, Colin O'Grady.
How's it going?
So thank you all for joining us. Just to check, Kea, you still have audio?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, we can hear you.
That's so weird. My camera's on, so I don't know what's going on.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's a Wi-Fi issue. I don't know, but that is very unusual. Though it seems to have happened a lot more often for the tournament than I would have liked. The first question tonight for tonight's panel, I'm going to say it's inspired by something I read on Jeopardy's Facebook page by a poster there who seems to be a little bit on the curmudgeonly side. But this is inspired by that. Someone comes up to you in the street, recognizes you from Jeopardy, and then starts complaining about people who do what is known as the forced bounce. How do you respond to that person? Sandie, you're first, and then we'll go with Russ, Kea, Josh, and Colin.
Well, for me, that's not merely a hypothetical situation. It's actually happened numerous times. And so usually my response is just to say, it's a legitimate strategy. People do it. I didn't, because you have to be very confident to do something like that. And I don't have that kind of confidence. I had enough confidence to go and try out for the show and all that other stuff, but, once I got there, I wasn't confident that kind of way to do that kind of thing.
Okay, Russ.
Well, I guess I would say that the the fact that you just asked that question demonstrates why they used strategy. It's meant to throw the other people off. I agree that it doesn't make it as pleasant to watch at home, but the point of playing the game is to win the game, and it might throw the other people off if you're good enough at doing it. So it doesn't bother me, and I think that it it's also we probably don't need to give tons of attention to everyone who tries to do it though either, because it's not really that big of a deal.
How about you, Kea? What do you think?
Well, I was running. I'm a big
proponent of going low on the board to begin with. So if anyone saw my episode and walked up to me and said that, it would be clearly an insult. So I don't care. I found the daily double in the first round, and that's the point.
Josh.
It happened to me a bunch because Arthur Chu was on not too long after I was on, and a lot of people asked me because he was all over the news. And I basically said, I mean, for me, the amount of confidence that you have to have in order to, especially in Double Jeopardy, to go that low on the board that quickly all over the place, all these different categories, rather than just kind of settling in a groove for one category. I mean, you got to know your stuff, and obviously Arthur did, and Alex Jacob and other people have done it too, have done to great success.
And Colin.
I mean, at the end of the day, Jeopardy's a television show. There's a reason that they're not, putting live broadcasts of trivia nights on some kind of cable channel somewhere. Jeopardy, it's always been at its best when it's had narratives and when it's had characters, and some of those characters are people that piss people off, And I think that's what makes the show watchable. And so anything that gets people inflamed, gets people thinking, gets people feeling, reacting, it's a positive for the show.
Do we have anyone else who wants to chime in with any more thoughts on the Forest Balance?
Well, but I don't think I would ever say out loud, have you ever been on national TV and how did you do? But if somebody got obnoxious enough, that thought would definitely go through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I have a term for this. It's called a sigh roll. I just roll my eyes and sigh a little bit.
I had no idea how difficult it was going to be to think until you're standing up there. I went in thinking about all of this. It was like, look, everybody roughly knows, somewhere between a lot and a crazy ridiculous amount. And so you go in there thinking the advantage is going to be figuring out how to play the game, and you get up there and whoo, it's gone. There's no, none of this cognition, none of this thinking about how you're going to play. That's just so anybody who can pull it off, tip of the hat,
After meeting Chuck and then playing against him at the Battle of the Decades, he certainly didn't. It's not like he was trying to disown the strategy or anything like that, because he still kind of tried to do it during the game. But he is so. It probably has to do with the job that he has. He's so difficult to read, kind of what he's thinking at any given time, and just very he just plays his cards close to the vest and all that. So I think he was kind of amused that it was still a thing that we were talking about 25 years or whatever after he was first on the show.
And how great is it? I mean, that show has lasted and become significant enough that you've got things that are named after, really we'll call it what it is, trivia competitors, Yeah. This game has made celebrities out of people who just know random pieces of information. And I think that speaks to, the significance and the sort of the cultural cache that the show has.
Well, I would also say that you have terms named after Nancy Zerg as well, that's one thing to think about. But not just for knowing things, but also the sometimes in Nancy's case, the shock of actually having beaten Ken Jennings. But also again, that's testament to the fact that anything is possible. So. Do we have anything else before we have the judging panel give out some scores?
One more thing. If the producers and the powers that be really had a problem with people bouncing around the board, they just changed the rules.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent point. So scores for the first question. Okay, so we have Sandie picking up 7. That puts her at 7. Russ gets 9. Kea gets 9. Josh 6, and Colin opens with a 10. So We're going to move on to question 2. We're going to start here with Russ, then go to Kea, Josh, Colin, and Sandie. In this one I think is inspired by the second of our semifinals from a couple of nights ago. Pick a contestant for the 2015 Tournament of Champions and give them a superpower.
I have to review my list, which now nicely exists on the Jeopardy website.
Yes, I will say that is a positive. So yes, you get to pick a contestant for the Tournament of Champions and give them a superpower.
So Alex Jacob becomes super sunglasses poker player. So it's not he's already a poker player and you can't really figure out what he's thinking. And now he wears the sunglasses that poker players wear, and so you can't tell what he's thinking.
Kea.
I'm going to go with Carrie Green, and I'm going to say that she can basically melt people's minds just by staring at you with that smirk, that little bit of a smirk.
Josh.
So I really want Kristen Southwell to. I think she should wear the purple hair or the purple highlights or whatever on TV. I think that would be awesome. And her hair should have the power to just, blind people. It's hard for them to see the clues. It's hard for them to think. Her hair is purple and powerful.
Colin.
I'm going to go with the Teacher's winner, Jennifer Giles, who has incredible taste in beer and has much better microbreweries where she is in Colorado, and give her the superpower to make objects transport time and space so she can make all of her beer appear in my kitchen.
Sandie.
I knew where you were going with that.
It's kind of a hard one for me because, Louis Vertel isn't on that list, and I really wish I could just make that snap into a superpower of some kind. Snap his fingers and things would just happen, But, we got to pick somebody, so I think I was kind of thinking Alex Jacob too, because that hair, it's like it should have some sort of magical power to it. You should use the hair to power up, some way or another, flight or invisibility or something.
Okay. Oh wow, I have scores already. Awesome, that's great. Oh, now Colby, we have our sixth semifinalist.
Hey Russ. Well, I'm dreadfully sorry that I forgot how Eastern time works.
Nice of you to join us. I am going to, while I come up with some scores here, for the first couple of questions, I'll give you a chance to catch up to us. Wow. I'll be nice and give you a chance to catch up. Okay. But question 1. Somebody comes up to you in the street, recognizes you from Jeopardy, and then starts complaining about people who do the forest bounce. How do you respond?
Oh, I respond that, since Chuck Forrest ended my 9-game win streak, I think that's a pretty valid strategy. And since Chuck Forrest has won, 6 figures by playing a game as I have, it's completely valid. I understand that you have feelings as a viewer and you want to just go down the lines in a row, but we're trying to play our game here, and I think you can follow along just as well. So do not hate the player, hate the game.
And number 2, pick a contestant for the upcoming 2015 Tournament of Champions and give them a superpower.
So pick one and give them a superpower. All right. Oh, geez. So I'm going to go Well, I'm going to stand by Kristen Salisbury because I played Quizbo with her at T-Kona. And as, I guess, just innately what her superpower is, or just grant her a random superpower that she can use to her advantage?
Grant her a superpower.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to go. All right. So, all right. So mental control is just too much of a hack. What I'm going to go is with that sort of 5-second precognition, something like in Minority Report with the 3 triplets and whatnot, because I think that'll give her just enough of an edge, but not so much that you feel like it's a hack. I think superpowers have to be entertaining. Like, that's why people don't like Superman so much, because he can do whatever. So I'll give her that one.
Okay. So some scores. The judges for Colby's forced bounce answer picks up 9 points, and then now I'm just going to go straight through the group for question number 2. Sandie picks up 8, total of 15. Russ 8, total of 17. Kea 8, total of 17. Josh 8, total of 14. Colin opens with his second consecutive 10 for 20, and Colby gets 7 for 16. So question 3, as always, is the...
Oh no. Oh no.
Question 3 is going to be your caption competition. So you guys are going to need to click on me so that you guys can see me, so that when I share the screen, you'll be able to see this picture of Nicolas Cage. And so you guys have to come up with a Jeopardy-related caption. Now, this is up on my own screen, so I actually can't see the panel at this point. So when I call on you, you're going to actually have to speak out in turn with your answer. Kea will go first, then Josh, Colin, Colby, Sandie, and Russ. Kea, so yeah, you need to come up with a Jeopardy-related caption for this photograph.
Jeopardy actually accepted Budweiser instead of Bud Light?
Meta.
Josh.
Oh yeah, Trebek, you actually knew that? Yeah, okay.
Colin.
Where did Alex's mustache go? I'm so confused.
Colby.
You might end up burned alive, like this man's career.
Sandie.
Franklin Pierce? Really? He wasn't that good looking, was he?
And Russ.
$11 billion.
Oh.
I know that wasn't him, but it seemed appropriate.
You sold it. You sold it.
Okay, so I will take that photo down. There we go. And
miss him already.
Okay, so let's see here. Question 4. You've got a chance. While I tabulate the scores, you've got a chance to think about number 4. This one inspired a bit by. And of course, Kea has already alluded to this on the air. This question is inspired by the foofara that took place over in Learned League yesterday and this morning regarding Budweiser versus Bud Light. For those of you who don't know, there was a question in Learned League yesterday that asked for I'm just going to bring it up on my thing here, because it's just easier if I quote it, the question in its entirety. But what is and has been every year for over a decade the top-selling domestic beer brand in the United States? And there was quite a there was a Bastille-level mob who felt that Budweiser should have been accepted. I personally disagree, but in light of that, in your opinion, what is the biggest quote-unquote mistake that the judges have made, in your opinion, in terms of an answer that they accepted but should not have, or vice versa? We're going to open with Josh, then Colin, Colby, Sandie, Russ, and Kea. By the way, oh yeah, you still got some time to think, because I still have some scores to announce. Kea, your caption picks up 10 points. That puts you at 27. Josh's gets 9 for 23. Colin's 7 for 27. Colby's 6 for 22. Sandie on 8 for 23. And Russ 5 for 22. So yes, biggest mistake of the judges in terms of an answer they accepted but should not have, or vice versa.
So that's me first?
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Yes, you are first, Josh.
Okay, so for the lack of being able to think of anything true, I will say that I think that Emancipation Proclamation should be right for every Final Jeopardy answer. It doesn't matter, Pericles, Prince of Tyre, whatever. I think Emancipation Proclamation, go for it. Let's do it.
Colin.
I'm drawing a blank. I mean, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's really tough. All right, this is a total BS answer. It's the only thing popping in my head. I'll say the mistake that they make, because I had a correction go against me, which should have gone against me. The mistake that they make is they come over and apologize to you. Like, they came over, and Maggie came over and said sorry. And I looked at her, I was like, why are you saying sorry? That's a mistake. I screwed up. Take my money, take it away from me. Don't apologize. Come over and tell me, like, scold me, wag a finger. Like, give me a backhand or something, you know? Slap me at this stupid. I said Consumer Report instead of Consumer Reports, or maybe it was vice versa. I don't remember. But, like, hit me in the head and tell me that was dumb. You should have said the letter or not said the letter. That's the mistake. The mistake comes in the way they deliver it. Be confident. Don't apologize for correcting people when they're wrong.
Colby.
Well, let's see. I guess the time that I felt that I was ruled incorrectly, and of course I remember because I was stunting in my TOC, and I went with F.W. de Klerk. I said Friedrich Wilhelm de Klerk. If I just mumbled it, if I just mumbled a little bit more, I would have been in there. Or if I were just smart, that would have been in there. But definitely coming up and telling me that I was wrong, because I was, and then I just have to look up and feel like a complete, jerk for stunting in my TOC. But I deserve that, so I'll stand by that. Also, in Learner League, apparently it's something about South Africa. So they asked about the birthplace of Alan Patton, and I put Republic of South Africa, and it was not the Republic of South Africa at the time. It was the Union of South Africa, and I was termed incorrect. So note to self, just answer the most succinct question, answer about South Africa in every situation, otherwise you're going to get burned.
Sandie.
Oh, I got to admit, I'm kind of drawing a blank on that too. I kind of felt like I got lucky on a situation like that. Actually, though, on my second final, I remember the answer was Nelson Mandela, and I wrote it out, and I thought my handwriting looked kind of scrawly, so I started to rewrite it, but I didn't get all the letters out before the pen shut off. But I hadn't scratched out the first, the first time I wrote the name. So you didn't see this on TV, but it took them about 5 minutes to make up their mind that they were going to count my first answer as okay because they could read it. So I kind of caught a break on that one, I think.
The things you learn on Jeopardy Live panel. Russ.
When they accepted the response as correct of the sixth Great Lake being Lake Champlain back in 1998, they should have known that that was a ridiculous idea and that the Senate would get rid of that within weeks, and just predicted that was wrong, and probably never even aired the clue in the first place. But
how about you, Kaya?
There are two that I remember there being controversies about. The more recent one was the Iceland Air Final Jeopardy. I remember there being a big hullabaloo about that one, about Icelandic Airlines not being the same as Iceland Air. I don't remember what my opinion about that one was, though. And there was another one a couple years ago where the answer was The Legend of Zelda. And one of the contestants only put Zelda. Now, I guess that's a fair ruling, but I felt really bad because if you've seen like any Nintendo title or any Legend of Zelda title, the word Zelda is in big giant letters, and the Legend of Zelda is in like really tiny print. So it's just an easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I know also one thing that was brought up, and if I check the hashtag, I'm sure it will come up eventually. But I know in the whole Budweiser Bud Light, Megan Barnes in her game actually they accepted Budweiser for Bud Light.
Exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Which I thought.
And Nicolas Cage was like, "What are they doing?"
Okay. Huh. So, well, apparently, wow, okay, so, apparently Bud Bowl 11 is broken out, according to On the Radio, though. Yeah, if you've got if we're going to come up with some scores, and then we will, okay.
So I hadn't even been to the Learned League website yet today. Because my opponent forfeited yesterday, so I didn't even really look at the scores. But so, what was the final decision made on this? There's 5 pages of chat, so I'm not going to get through it.
The commissioner eventually decided he was going to accept Budweiser as correct.
Budweiser won the Bud Bowl on Fail Mary. That's what happened.
Okay, so scoring-wise, Josh picks up 8 for 31, Colin 8 for 35, Colby 9 for 31, Sandie 8 for 31, Russ 9 for 31, and Kaya 9 for 36. Question number 5, we're going to go into our crystal ball once again. We're going to start with Colin, and Colby, Sandie, Russ, Kaya, and Josh. What do you think Jeopardy is going to do for Alex Trebek's final 4 weeks of episodes? So this is some crystal ball time, and what do you think Jeopardy is going to do for Alex Trebek's final 4 weeks of episodes whenever he chooses he's going to retire?
I'd like to think that they'll do almost nothing in a weird way. I'd like to think that the game will be as it's always been. It's never as much as everybody loves Alex Trebek. The show isn't. There's more to the show, I think, than Alex, and so I'd like to think that they that they air a small thing here and there, 5-second clip here, 5-second clip, lots of shots of Alex before the gray. Maybe even the shirtless once per episode, the headshot. It's got to be shown. But I'd like to think that they air the show the way it's supposed to be and the way they want it to continue. As a way of saying, look, he did great service for this show, and he's handing it over. We're not concerned about it not continuing after he hands it to whoever takes it next.
Colby, what do you think?
So I'd like to agree because I do think as great as Alex is as a host, the show is bigger than he is, and I think he acknowledges that, and he's relatively humble about his role within the series and how hard he works. But I would like for a send-off. So when when he hands over the reins, that what you do is you gather up just about every possible celebrity host of a game show that you can. You have Alex play along and do something ridiculous, like maybe not a tournament, but just have Alex play out maybe the last week, like a series of games against everybody. And when the Final Jeopardy shows up and they ask the question, this was my favorite thing to do, and Alex simply responds, what was hosting Jeopardy?
Right. Sandie.
Well, I have a feeling that Alex wouldn't want to have a particular fuss made about him, whenever he retires from the show. But I have a feeling a fuss will be made anyway. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them do some special shows, maybe bring back some favorite contestants, maybe a few favorite celebrities, and have some special games as just kind of a happy, fun little send-off for him.
Russ.
Free-flowing wine on set.
Pardon me?
Free-flowing wine on set.
Oh.
Kea.
I think he'd enjoy it.
Okay. I think he'd enjoy it too. Kea.
I don't know, because I don't think there's too much they can do with regard to the format. It's not like Colbert or like Jon Stewart. When they left, they can really make a lot of changes, but I kind of think they might have a special tournament, like a super tournament, around that time during whatever his last season is, and they might do it on location somewhere like Vegas or Washington or somewhere else.
Sorry, go ahead.
Also, a cake shaped like the Jeopardy board, clearly. Or one with his face with his mustache.
Well, what would actually be tremendous with the on-location idea is if they were to take Jeopardy out to the land that he donated in Los Angeles, the massive park. I think that would be, I know that's something he cares deeply about, and so if they were to take Jeopardy on location and shoot an episode out there, I think that would be
cool.
One of the best tributes, I think, to his lasting legacy. That something that would be really personal for him. That would be pretty cool.
And Josh.
So yeah, the MBA in me, who thinks that Bud Light and Budweiser are different brands, thinks that they'll do a tournament because they, it's ad revenue. Like they'll do something big to send them off and sell as many ads as they can. But my dream would be that you either bring on the celebrity Jeopardy people from Saturday Night Live for an episode, or the actual like Sean Connery or something like that. Obviously, never gonna happen. Or ideally, you have one last game where it's just Alex versus Ken Jennings versus Brad Rutter in the final game of Alex's career, and every single category is who can pronounce French words the best.
Oh man.
Okay, so we've got some scores here coming up for question number 5.
As someone who got mocked by Alex for my terrible French pronunciation, I appreciate that one.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen yesterday's yet, we have some people. We had a contestant yesterday defending their pronunciation of French, but
against Alex?
No.
It's a bad idea. It's a bad
Back
idea.
away, dude.
Was that Shaggy?
Pardon me?
Was that Shaggy? What, the guy in the middle?
Yeah.
Rook?
Yes.
You shouldn't defend anything against Alex, probably.
No.
It's probably a good bet, but especially you go in his wheelhouse like that, it's...
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've still got a couple of minutes before our judge has to, or rather, our judging panel has to break apart for the night. But the object of question 6, as always, is to summarize tonight's panel in 140 characters or fewer. It's not going to be used for a tweet or anything for voting, but it's still a fun exercise, I think. So we're going to start with Colby, then go Sandie, Russ, Kea, Josh, and Colin. Summarize tonight's panel in 140 characters or fewer.
All right. So, I showed up late. I hope I made a big splash anyway. Thanks, I'm out.
Sandie.
It really doesn't matter if it's Bud or Bud Light. I'd rather have a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. Thank you.
Whoa.
Russ.
Nicolas Cage asks, why can't Colby get a smartphone or figure out time zones?
Cold-blooded.
Kea.
Raising a glass of cream soda, an equally attractive non-alcoholic beverage, to the fact that Budweiser was accepted and my loss turned into a tie. So
Oh.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Josh.
After two questions, somehow I was losing to the guy who was a half hour late. But I know that hashtag Team Josh will have my back on the fan vote.
And Colin.
Beer. Best when transported through time and space, and when it's neither Bud nor Bud Light.
I would like to put one vote forward for Bell's Two Hearted. Actually, I'm sure a good Michigan craft beer.
I agree.
Colin, if I were at home and not in my office, I'd just give you some Colorado beer through the screen here.
Virginia's getting better. We're getting pretty good. We're not quite up with California, Oregon, and Colorado, but we're getting pretty good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have all the scores, so I do want to thank the second part of our judging panel for being able to join us this evening. I know she does have to duck away, so thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks,
now I'm
guys.
going to actually
Jenny.
Bye.
some scores and do some housekeeping. But the way this is going to work is because I don't think I announced the scores to question 5 yet, so that saved a couple minutes there. The scores to question 5. Colin picked up 9 for 44, Colby 8 for 39, Sandie 5 for 36, Russ 8 for 39, Kea 7 for 43, and Josh 6 for 37. So once again, for those of you who haven't seen it, the way the fan vote is going to work, there's nothing on Twitter. It is entirely by Google poll. You can find the poll at our website, thejeopardyfan.com. In order to see the poll, you may need to be logged into Google before you visit the website. That is what I've heard from a few people. The winner automatically advances to the final panel. There are also 4 wild cards. The top 4 non-winning scores, everything includes the fan vote to determine advancement. On the fan poll, you get 1 point for every 5% of ballots your name appears on, to a maximum of 20. Again, the winner advances, and top 4 wild cards. There's in terms of the wild cards, I will say so far there is one at there's a 58 and 3 56s at this point, so that's something to keep in mind in case you have so that you have an idea as to how much you need in terms of votes. I'm going to read out these scores in reverse order of where we were going in. Sandie had 36. Her tweet picks up 7, so she finishes with a debate score of 43. Josh had 37. His tweet picks up 10. That puts him at a final score of 47.
Got a fighting chance.
Russ had 39. His tweet picks up 10 for 49. Colby at 39. His tweet picks up 7. That means he finishes at 46. Kea had 43. Her tweet picks up 8 for 51. And Colin at 44. His tweet picks up 9 for a total of 53. So there is still obviously a chance. You may need to get your voting teams out to vote for you into to vote you into the final panel. I do not know when that final panel is going to be yet. I will post in one of our recaps coming up on the JeopardyFan.com with the final schedule, but as well as a schedule for our first panel of where we discuss the new season. So you'll want to keep posted to our website once again, thejeopardyfan.com, to determine when you should tune in to us again for Jeannie, myself, and all of our panelists. Some of whom have an idea as to how time zones work, but thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.